Okay, so I just published my video, or it will be up shortly in regards to curly cuts. But after I was done editing and all that, I had a few additional thoughts. I will leave this video by saying that people have different perspectives. What people do with their hair is none of my business, but I do like to play devil's advocate. Okay, so let's do a complete 180. Say this was going on in straight cut land. Say there was somebody who liked to wear their hair straight, but they made sure they told their stylist that they wanted to maintain the integrity of their curls. So they go to the stylist is like, follow this regimen, come see me once every 2 months. Don't, press your hair more than once every 2 weeks. Do the treatments, K18, Olaplex, whatever. So say this person is following all the rules for a year and a half, their hair is growing, it's healthy, it's beautiful. They're happy, their stylists are happy. But they're like, oh, I like what's been going on the internet, and I want to go get my hair, see what it looks like in a professional wash and go. Now, every time this person gets their hair shampooed by the straight stylist, they can see their curls revert. Their curls look perfectly fine. But once they go to this curly artist, they notice curl loosening. Because once the curl artist gets in there, straightens it, puts the gels, moves, whatever styling products they are, and really defines their curls, they can see that there's curl loosening at the end of their hair, right? So, curl loosening is that damage. Old school stylists would say no. If you want to wear your hair straight and your hair is not curling, who cares? And it looks perfect and beautiful in a straight state. Who cares if your curls aren't coming back? And, right? So then this person, they see their curls and they have a decision to make. Do they keep the loosening curls because they wear their hair straight most of the time anyway? Do they say, no, I want my curls to look cohesive, get rid of the loose curls? Yeah, I mean, so that and that's a personal choice. It's a personal decision. So if you don't wear your hair curly all the time, does it matter if you have curl loosening? And there are a lot of people who argue that curl loosening is a form of damage. Your hair doesn't have the same elasticity, the same strength as it would if your curls were forming like they should. So is that damage? It's weathering, but what is it? But I feel like nobody in that circumstance would turn to the straight stylist and call them incompetent, because the cut and the straight state look perfectly fine. You can't see that weathering. And I don't think that client would go back to the straight stylist and be like, why couldn't you tell my hair wasn't going to look, be curled from root to tip and a curly state? Because everybody knows that's not really how straight styles know. They know it's some risk and some weathering on the hair. So that person might decide, what, once every 2 weeks to straighten my hair is too much. Let me get into a better routine. I really want my curls, to look good when I go to wear my hair curly, even though I don't do it that often. And that's a personal choice. And if that person said, cut the loose curls in its curly state, they're going to have to get a whole nother cut when they go straighten their hair out. Because we all know, even from Diva cut and Rizzo cut and all those cuts, once you straighten your hair, you have to fix the shape again. So you're going to lose a significant amount of length. So I feel like with this whole curly cut conversation, a similar thing is going on, where stylists who cut curly are seeing the damage, are cutting the damage that they see in the curly state, but that damage looks different when it's straight. Well, I don't even call it damage. Let's call it weathering. So they cut the damage that they see. You can see split ends on curly hair, true splits, the hair separating up. I can see them on my hair. I'm sure the curly cut stylist can see them. A true split, you can see curly or straight. So true splits, you can definitely get. This other weathering, where the hair is just kind of rough and bushy, you might not be able to see in this curly state. You might not be able to tell in the curly state when you go to straighten that those ends are going to be bushy. But then again, that's a personal decision. Do you want to do something to address the bushy ends? Maybe you do have to switch up your styling product. Maybe you do need to switch up your styling routine. Or are you okay with those bushy ends for the, 3 days a year you want to wear your hair straight, and it's okay that your hair is growing and flourishing into what you want it to be in curly cuts? And I guess the reason I made this video is because I saw a stylist, like people's personal experience are their journeys. I'm not arguing with nobody about what they want to do with their hair. I'm glad they're sharing their journey, different perspectives, different views. No problem. No issue with people sharing their personal hair journeys. But one video I saw kind of upset me because a girl went to a stylist. Her curly cut was so beautiful. It was perfect. It was my dream curly cut. A chin length bob, right? It looked like in its curly state, it looked beautiful. Like one might say, hiding the damage. So this stylist blows her hair out, doesn't show the blowout, doesn't show the condition of the ends, just shows the after. And the after would have set her back like a year or two in curly cuts, I'm sure, because instead of the top connecting to the back, it's now, tiered cake. And like, that's a cut, that's a look, that's a shape. But if I went to a stylist with my curly cut and I said, hey, I want to maintain my shape, that wasn't her shape. So I guess you have to keep those things in mind, just like if you're going to go straight. I know the stylist could seem dogmatic about it, but at the same time, if you go to somebody who doesn't understand curly cuts and they start hacking away at your hair, and after you achieved your goal shape, like that, like I was truly heartbroken because I'm like, oh my God, that is the hair I am working to grow out. And if I went and I said, okay, cut the damage, I don't mind going shorter, but I want to keep my shape, I would have been so disappointed in that service. Like, I don't know, like, it's all the back of the client's head. Who knows what conversations they had? Did the client like really understand like they were going to get a whole different shape? Like, do they like that shape? And if somebody doesn't really understand the ins and outs of curly cuts, they can't really have that conversation with you. So that video like touched the nerves. I'm like, and everybody's like, well, you could get the stylist was like, well, you could get a shape. It's an even better shape. Even better for who? You know what I mean? Because if that person wanted a bob, you took them from a bob to a layered curly cut, which they might have came out of that. Like if they started like me, they have those layers and they wanted them to connect. So I don't know. I feel like we have work to do in terms of like texture talk. And I feel like in terms of textured hair and curly cuts, there might be some adjustments to some routines that need to get made. I don't know what the answer is, but it's not, hands down, cut blank. It's not cut and dry for everybody. Like, I feel like everybody's going to have a different resolution that they want for that situation. And yes, I have seen people that know how curly cuts work, blow hair out, and then like and maintain the bob. Like I've seen people that do that. People who do curly cuts that straighten it out. And as they're cutting in a way that is graduated, that accounts for the fact that the top of the hair needs to be longer so that it meets the back when it's in this curly state. I've seen curl artists do that. So that is a thing, but the person has to understand curly cuts and what the end goal is for their client. Like people just going out and making promises that they're not delivering on. Be careful. That's all I have to say. Again, it's a little impromptu video, but thanks for watching.